everybody, I'm Brad York, the Director of Marketing here at Arizona Broadway Theater, and today is a very special day because really, for the first time in 6 months and over 200 days, I'm able to come to you from the theater. It's really my first time being here and being able to talk to the public. I'm here today with Kiel Klaphake, Executive Producer and CEO at Arizona Broadway Theater, and we really want to take the opportunity today to give you all some information on what the last 6 months have entailed, some of the work that we've put in over this time to think of all of you coming back in the invitation that we're so excited we've been able to make most recently. But Kiel, really there's no doubt that the last 6 months have been both an extraordinary time and a challenge for all of us. But I know that we as a group have continued to remain driven to look towards the future despite any obstacles that have happened. And we're somewhat there slowly. If you can just give us a little idea of your purview of the last 6 months and where we've come.
Well, the last 6 months have been a challenge, I think, for everybody. For us here at the theater, not only was it the loss of a great art institution, but also the loss of a lot of staff members. I mean, one of the greatest, I think, abilities I have as a small business owner is to be able to hire a lot of people. And in March, we had to lay off about 250 people, which had a tremendous impact on obviously the community and our entire business model. It was really tough. We had 3 productions that were in the works. Spelling Bee, which was about to open up.
Sure.
Lacage had 1 more week down at the Herberger Theater Center, our other theater, and we had just opened Chicago on our main stage. So all of that was really quite painful to see that happen. Since then, of course, we've been trying to evaluate all the different ways to reopen with all the changes in terms of requirements. But we're pretty confident now that after 6 months, that we have a plan to try to figure out how to make it all happen.
Sure, and I think that there's an optimism for us because really just this next week on October 14th will be our first time inviting people back into the theater for some of our fall interim programming. We're going to start off with the 1952 classic movie musical, Singin' in the Rain, which was on the ABT stage, of course, at one time. But we've put a lot of thought into some of these programmings. It's going to look and feel different than what people have had in the past, but it's a small step. So you and Cass working towards some of this programming, what were some of the things you were massaging with how we make this and how we step into this slowly?
Well, first thing I'd say is one thing that hasn't changed is our commitment to creating a great product for our community. We recognize that reopening our main stage is going to take some time, but we knew that we wanted to make sure that the quality of our programming still was intact. And so we looked at it with a little bit more fun element. Sure. And recognizing that we're an entertainment company. Yes, we do musical theater, we take it very seriously, but also in this time where we have to reimagine and reevaluate what it is we can do, we decided to come across with a whole bunch of really fun programming. So between doing movie musicals, Singin' in the Rain, to doing what we call Broadway Bingo, which is sort of a choose-your-own concert that people get a chance to be interactive with what they want to have, and then a whole series of concerts, recognizing that putting concerts on our stage is much easier to pull off with 4 or 5 performers on the stage, eliminates a lot of that potential interaction with a huge cast and huge production crew, but also can bring what is a magical part of theater, which is the musical component. And so we have tribute artists coming in with tributes to a bunch of famous popular composers in both the musical theater world as well as in the pop world. Sure. So it'll be a fun time for people, and they get a chance to experience what it is that they've missed for 7 months now.
Well, and I think as I started out by saying, the work that's gone into looking at this and inviting people back into the theater is new for us at this time because we have some restrictions and such that go along with it. Of course, we're still concerned about safety for everyone. We've spent a lot of time looking at safety protocols that are important both as addressed by the Arizona Department of Health and the CDC. But some things have changed, but some things haven't. So looking at October 14th and moving through into November and December, let's talk about some of the things that the patrons can expect some guidelines that we've set in place for health and safety when they return?
Sure. So we look at sort of the three key elements for making sure that it's a safe environment for people. First one, of course, is PPE, making sure that people have all the protective equipment available to them. So people will be required to wear a mask. We also have heightened sanitation protocols in terms of making sure that the facility stays safe and sanitized in between each performance. We have a crew that comes in and sanitizes. And then, of course, the third is making sure that our environmental space is safe. So we've enhanced our ventilation and air handling systems. Fortunately, I think Arizona is primed to be able to restart ahead of perhaps other parts of the U.S. because we're heading into the fall, and the fall in Arizona means we can go outside.
Yeah.
And so we have the ability to bring in lots of fresh air into a space that's normally closed off from the outdoors. So all three of those elements, we think we're setting ourselves up for being able to allow people to have a really good experience. It will come with a bit of a hassle because they'll have to wait outside until we allow them to come in. You'll have certain elements of social distancing that we're establishing in our facility, and the reduction in food and beverage services also have to come into play because we want to make sure that people can still have a good quality experience without the challenges of taking off your mask and putting it back on throughout the entertainment. So our entertainment this fall is, they're shorter performances. They're about an hour and a half long, which will help encourage people to stay in their seat and enjoy the experience and then have a safe exit.
Sure, and I think it's also important that people let people know that there will be an element of the experience which does include bar service and concessions. We're actually sitting in an area here where our tables have been set up for social distancing, and those will be available for purchase before the show.
Right. So our plan for the fall is when you do purchase a ticket for one of our concerts, if it's in the main room or if it's in the encore room, we're going to be holding the doors until 15 minutes prior to the performance. And that's to make sure that we can sanitize the space and make sure that it's safe for your arrival. If you do arrive prior to that, we will be opening up our lobby into this very open environment here where people could purchase a beverage through our bar or have some small appetizers and other food offerings that we'll have in the space. We'll have a server that can come serve you at your table so you don't have to walk around with other patrons. But we're hoping that if people do arrive, they'll get a chance to have a little bit of that sort of dinner theater experience without having to have the complication in the main room. Our hope is that then once we do open in the main stage and can resume our main meals sometime after the first of the year, then we can get back to that regular programming. I
want to kind of move on to a broader sense of our arts and cultural community nationally, not just regionally here. I mean, certainly our patrons know how this has affected us, as in they have not been able to participate in something they enjoy. But I think that this this intermission that we're still in, and today Broadway announced another extended pause in their programming, but it's really brought to light how arts and culture play a role both locally as part of the community and the quality of life that we're in. And I'm sure you have had a number of conversations with other executives in the theatrical community that has addressed that.
Yeah, I think one of the fundamental challenges in the economic stressors that we're all in right now is that arts and culture has historically always been looked at as sort of a leisure activity that is only available when you have the ability, the time, and the resources to be able to address that. It's not always considered essential. I tend to look at it very differently. I feel that arts can be an essential part of who we are. It is our makeup. And I'm optimistic that as we try to rebuild our economy, I would like to see how arts and culture can play a key component in the rebuilding. So rather than us looking at, let us be the last person in to finally be able to open, how can we play a role in helping build confidence in the community, help rebuild a consumer behavior that says it is okay to come out into your community and recognize that arts is a key component to that. We can be an incubator to allow people to want to experience, the great life that they've come to enjoy. And it can lead to people coming out and going shopping and having a greater sense of confidence. So we can play a key role in that. I'm hopeful that with this fall programming that we're doing, it will help bolster up some of that confidence in our community, that they will come out, and that they will probably come out and go shopping. And it might be enough of a catalyst of change for people to recognize that the world is different. They have to wear protective gear and they have to follow rules, but hopefully it will help get the economic engine up and running sooner.
Sure. There's a lot that goes into determining just what a season looks like in the past. 15 seasons and 16 was on the horizon at the time. We're now looking at kind of a reimagined, a reinvention of what we've done in the past with the fully produced main stage musicals, which people certainly have come to expect and what they really want, the meat of what ABT does. What do you see coming in 2021? Somewhat, where are we now in a vision of what that could be?
Sure. So a few months ago, we announced that we wouldn't be able to open Chicago until after the first of the year.
Right.
That was based on where we were in Arizona in terms of the infection rates and what seemed a reasonable time period for us. Now it's getting closer, and every month and every week that goes by that we get closer to the first of the year, we get heightened cautiousness about what that may look like. We still are optimistic that we can reopen quickly after the first of the year. Our plan is that Chicago, which we had suspended after just 4 performances, will be the first one on our stage. However, the subsequent productions after that is a bit of a burden for us to figure out. How do we manage the expectations of our community that have purchased tickets for upcoming productions? Mm-hmm. How do I address all of those productions in a condensed period of time? We are working on a variety of different scenarios. There's a lot of factors that go into it. If the show is still available, if we have the talent that can still do some of those shows. But we hope, by the cooperation that we hope to maintain with our patrons, and the understanding that they're coming at this with a sense of grace to work with us as we work through this, is that we'll have the opportunity to make good on our promise. Our promise is to offer high quality productions. We've sold tickets, we have subscriptions, we have donors, and we want to hopefully have the opportunity to make good on that. And the challenge is right now we don't have the ability to make good on that. Our delivery of our product, the ship, got stuck, and it's not here yet. We don't have the ability to bring that product to our community, but we're hopeful that once we can make good on that promise.
Sure.
What does that look like? We are hoping to be able to announce some of the programming, our main stage programming, for calendar year 2021 here within the next month or so. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts, but we hope to be able to give that to our community before the holidays, a sense of hope, a sense of focus, not only for our patrons, but for our staff. This suspension that we've been in has been a challenge for a lot of people. Our staff, our community at large have all been in this sort of stasis where we're not entirely sure what the future holds. If we can put a pin in the calendar that says this is our date and we're going to try to stick to that the best we can, it gives us a sense of hope and optimism.
Hope and optimism. I think those are two words that mean a lot to everyone, not just us here at ABT, but I think all the folks out there who are looking forward to coming back. So we've talked about the Fall Interim Programming. Like we said, that's going to start up here on October 14th with our classic movie musicals. All the information on our Fall Interim Programming can be found online at azbroadway.org. And we do have box office hours right now, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There are no in-person sales, but you can call 623-776-8400, and there will be a live person here to talk to you about the programming that's going on and extend a further invitation to you to come and join us. So thank you, folks. We certainly look forward to seeing all of you again soon here at Arizona Broadway Theater.